There's something about the silence after you've said something you can't take back. It has a weight to it, a texture, like the air itself has changed composition, and you're breathing something heavier than oxygen, something that might suffocate you if you're not careful. I've been thinking about that kind of silence a lot lately, about the moments when words leave your mouth before your brain can stop them, when truth escapes before you've calculated the cost of speaking it, when you forget, for just 1 second, that there are hierarchies and protocols and invisible lines you're not supposed to cross. The conference room on the 14th floor has windows that face east. In the mornings, the light comes in sharp and clean, turning everything it touches into something that looks more important than it actually is. The table is long and polished. The chairs are the expensive kind that adjust in 17 different ways. The walls are lined with awards and photographs of handshakes and those motivational phrases that companies put up to remind you that innovation starts here, or excellence is our standard. I was sitting in one of those chairs 3 weeks ago, third seat from the end, the intern seat, the place where you're supposed to be present but not too present, observant but not too observant, grateful for the opportunity to breathe the same air as important people making important decisions. My name is Sarah. I'm 23. This internship was supposed to be the beginning of everything. 6 months at Morrison & Klein, one of the biggest consulting firms in the city. A line on my resume that would open doors. A chance to learn from people who'd built careers I could only imagine. I'd been there for 7 weeks when it happened. The meeting was about a client proposal, big account, millions of dollars. The kind of thing that gets decided in rooms like this by people who've earned the right to make those decisions. The CEO, James Morrison himself, was walking us through the presentation. Slides full of graphs and projections and strategies that were supposed to revolutionize how this client thought about their market. I was taking notes. That's what interns do. We take notes and nod at appropriate moments and try to look intelligent without actually contributing anything that might remind people we're in the room. James was talking about market penetration in the Southwest region, talking about growth projections and demographic trends and all the language that makes business sound like science instead of educated guessing. And then he said it, the number. The projection that the entire strategy hinged on. With a market growth rate of 8.7% annually in this sector, we're projecting a 43% increase in revenue over the next 18 months. I wrote it down, started to move on to the next slide, but something was wrong. The number felt wrong, like a note played slightly off key in a song you know by heart. I pulled up my laptop, quietly, tried to be invisible while I checked the research I'd been compiling for the past 3 weeks. The raw data that someone more important than me had supposedly analyzed and synthesized into these pretty slides. The market growth rate wasn't 8.7%. It was 6.3%. I'd checked it 17 times while building the database, had verified it against 3 different sources, had even flagged it in my notes because it was lower than the client was hoping for. Someone had changed it, or misread it, or maybe just hoped no one would notice the difference. 2 percentage points. Such a small thing. Except when you're projecting millions of dollars over 18 months, 2 percentage points is the difference between a smart investment and a fantasy. I should have stayed quiet. Should have waited until after the meeting. Should have sent a careful email to my supervisor suggesting, very gently, very politely, that perhaps there might be a small discrepancy worth reviewing. But I was 23 and still believed that truth mattered more than comfort, that being right was more important than being quiet, that accuracy was valued more than not making waves. So I raised my hand. The room went silent in that particular way that happens when someone breaks an unspoken rule. All heads turned. James stopped mid-sentence, one hand frozen on the remote control, mid-gesture toward the next slide. "Yes?" he said. His tone wasn't unkind, just surprised. Interns didn't raise hands. Interns didn't interrupt. My voice sounded strange to my own ears. Too loud, too certain. "I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think there might be an error in that growth rate projection." The silence got heavier. "What do you mean?" James asked. Still not unkind, but something had shifted in his posture, something that made me suddenly aware of every person in that room. 12 people, 12 pairs of eyes, all watching the intern challenge the CEO. "The market growth rate," I said. My laptop was still open in front of me. The data was right there. I could see it. "I've been tracking this sector for the past 3 weeks, and the actual rate is 6.3%, not 8.7%. That's a pretty significant difference when you're calculating 18-month projections." Someone coughed. Someone else shifted in their chair. The VP of Strategy, a woman named Catherine with silver hair and steel in her eyes, was looking at me like I'd just set something on fire. James was very still. "You're sure about this number?" "Yes, sir. I have the sources here if you'd like to." "What's your name?" he asked. "Sarah. Sarah Chen. I'm the summer intern in the analytics department." He nodded slowly. "Sarah Chen, the summer intern. Who is correcting me?" "In front of our senior leadership team. About data for a multi-million-dollar client proposal." It wasn't a question. And the way he said it made me realize, finally, catastrophically, what I had just done. I'm sorry," I stammered. "I just thought the numbers are important, and if we present the wrong data to the client, it could—" "Thank you, Sarah," he said. His voice was very calm, very controlled, the kind of calm that feels dangerous. "I'll take your concern under advisement. Now, if we could please continue with the presentation." The meeting went on. I sat there in my chair, watching the slides move forward, watching James present the rest of the strategy, watching everyone carefully not look at me. My face was burning. My hands were shaking. I kept my eyes on my laptop screen, on the data that I knew was right, and tried not to think about what I'd just done to my career before it had even started. When the meeting finally ended, people filed out quickly. No one made eye contact with me. My supervisor, a kind man named Robert, who'd been showing me the ropes, paused by my chair. "My office," he said quietly. 5 minutes. Those were the longest 5 minutes of my life. Robert's office was small, crammed with books and files, and the evidence of a career spent in the trenches of data analysis. He gestured for me to sit, closed the door, sat down across from me with a sigh that seemed to come from somewhere deep. "Were you right?" he asked. "About the number?" "Yes," I said. "I'm certain of it." "Show me." I pulled up my research, showed him the sources, the methodology, the verification. He studied it all in silence, his face giving nothing away. Finally, he leaned back. "You're right. The number in the presentation was wrong." Relief flooded through me. So I did the right thing? Pointing it out? He looked at me with something like pity. "You were right about the data. But there's a difference between being right and doing something the right way." "I don't understand." You just humiliated the CEO in front of the entire senior leadership team, Robert said. You made him look careless, or incompetent, or both. You did it publicly. You did it as an intern who's been here for 7 weeks. But the numbers were wrong, I said. We can't present false data to a client. That's unethical. You're not wrong about that, he said. But you could have waited, could have pulled me aside after the meeting, could have found a way to flag the issue without making James look bad in front of people whose respect he needs to do his job. So I should have just let him present false information? No, Robert said. You should have found a way to be right without being cruel. I wasn't trying to be cruel, I said. I was trying to be accurate. I know, he said, but intention doesn't change impact. And right now, you've created a situation where the CEO looks bad, you look insubordinate, and everyone in that room is uncomfortable. I sat there trying to process this, trying to understand how telling the truth could be the wrong thing to do. What happens now? I asked quietly. Robert was silent for a long moment. I don't know, he said finally. James might let it go, might appreciate that you caught an error, or he might decide that an intern who doesn't understand hierarchy isn't worth the trouble of keeping around. So I might get fired. You might, he said, not unkindly, just honestly. Or you might not. But either way, you've learned something important about how organizations work, about power and politics, and the difference between being right and being effective. I left his office feeling sick, went back to my tiny desk in the corner of the analytics department, stared at my computer screen without seeing it. By lunch, everyone knew what had happened. I could feel it in the way people looked at me, or didn't look at me, in the conversations that stopped when I walked by, in the way my fellow interns suddenly had reasons to be elsewhere when I entered the break room. I'd been there for 7 weeks, and I'd become invisible again. But this time, it was the wrong kind of invisible. That evening, I sat in my apartment and wrote a resignation letter, drafted it carefully, politely, thanking them for the opportunity, citing personal reasons for needing to leave early, not mentioning that the real reason was that I couldn't bear to spend another 4 months in a place where I'd marked myself as someone who didn't understand the rules. I didn't send it, not yet. Decided to sleep on it, see how I felt in the morning. But Tuesday felt the same as Monday, and Wednesday felt worse. By Thursday, I was certain. I'd send the letter on Friday morning, finish out the day, leave with whatever dignity I could salvage. Thursday afternoon, I got an email from James Morrison's assistant. Subject line, meeting request, Friday 9 a.m. My stomach dropped. This was it. The official termination. He probably wanted to do it personally. Make sure I understood exactly how badly I'd messed up. I spent Thursday night rehearsing what I'd say, how I'd apologize, how I'd thank him for the opportunity and accept responsibility for my lack of judgment, how I'd leave gracefully. Friday morning came too quickly. I put on my most professional outfit, made sure I looked put together, even if I felt like I was falling apart. Walked into the building at 8:45 with my resignation letter in my bag and my heart somewhere in my throat. James's office was on the top floor. Corner office, windows on 2 walls. The kind of space that announced success without needing words. His assistant showed me in, offered coffee I was too nervous to drink, left me alone to wait. James arrived at exactly 9. Wow. He was wearing a suit that probably cost more than my car, looked tired but alert. sat down across from me, and didn't say anything for a long moment. "Do you know why you're here?" he asked finally. "I think so," I said, "and I want to apologize. What I did in that meeting was inappropriate and disrespectful. I shouldn't have spoken out like that. I should have found a better way to—" He held up a hand. "Stop, please." I stopped. "I didn't call you here for an apology," he said. "I called you here to give you one." I stared at him. "I'm sorry, what?" "You were right," James said. "The growth rate in that presentation was wrong. You caught an error that would have been catastrophic if we'd presented it to the client. You saved us from making fools of ourselves and potentially losing millions of dollars." "But you embarrassed me," he finished, "in front of my senior team. Made me look careless. I was angry about that. Spent Monday evening thinking about all the ways I could justify letting you go. Drafted a whole speech about respecting hierarchy and learning your place." He leaned back in his chair. "And then I went home, and my daughter asked me about my day. She's 19, studying engineering, smart as hell. And I started telling her about this intern who'd had the audacity to correct me, and you know what she said?" I shook my head. She said, "Good, someone should." And then she asked me if I'd thanked you. James smiled, but it looked tired. That's when I realized I was about to make a terrible mistake. I was about to punish someone for being right, because being right made me uncomfortable. I was about to choose my ego over accuracy, my pride over truth. "I could have handled it better," I said. "Could have talked to you privately after the meeting." "You could have," he agreed. "And in an ideal world, that would have been the diplomatic thing to do. But we don't live in an ideal world. We live in a world where meetings run long and decisions get made fast, and sometimes the only moment you have to speak up is right now, in front of everyone, or not at all." He pulled out a folder, opened it. Inside was my research. The data I'd been compiling. All of it, printed out and marked with notes in his handwriting. "I spent the last 3 days going through your work," he said. "All of it. Every source, every calculation, every footnote. Do you know what I found?" "What?" "That you're extraordinary at this. That you have an eye for detail and an instinct for accuracy that most people don't develop until they've been doing this for a decade. That you care more about getting it right than about being liked. And that's rare. That's valuable. That's exactly what this company needs." I didn't know what to say. "I also found," he continued, "that you flagged 17 other potential discrepancies in various projects over the past 7 weeks. Small things, mostly. Inconsistencies in data sets. Sources that didn't quite match up. Things that other people had missed or ignored because they weren't big enough to worry about." "I wasn't trying to criticize anyone," I said quickly. "I just thought—" "You thought accuracy mattered," James said, "and you were right. But here's what I've learned in 30 years of doing this work. Accuracy always matters. But so does how you deliver that accuracy. So does building trust. So does understanding that sometimes protecting someone's dignity is as important as protecting the data." He closed the folder. "So here's what I'm proposing. You finish your internship. You keep doing exactly what you've been doing. Catching errors, flagging inconsistencies, caring about precision. But I'm also going to assign you a mentor. Someone who can help you learn how to be right in ways that make people listen instead of get defensive. You're not firing me." "I'm not firing you," he said. "I'm offering you a full-time position after your internship ends, assuming you want it. assuming you're willing to learn not just the technical skills, but the human ones too. I must have looked stunned because he smiled. Did you think I brought you here to terminate you? Yes, I admitted. I was going to resign today. I have the letter in my bag. His smile faded. Because of Monday? Because I thought I'd ruined everything. Because everyone's been avoiding me all week. Because I thought I'd proven I don't understand how to work in a place like this. James was quiet for a long moment. Can I tell you something I wish someone had told me when I was your age? I nodded. The moments when you think you've ruined everything are usually the moments when you're actually building something important. The discomfort you're feeling? That's growth. That's learning. That's the price of being someone who tells the truth, even when it's inconvenient. He stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the city below. When I started this company, I made a promise to myself that I would build a place where people could do their best work, where accuracy mattered more than ego, where speaking up was valued more than staying quiet. But somewhere along the way, I forgot that promise. I got comfortable, started surrounding myself with people who told me what I wanted to hear, rather than what I needed to know. He turned back to me. You reminded me of that promise. You showed me that I'd built a culture where interns were too afraid to correct errors because they were more afraid of hierarchies than of being wrong. And that's on me. That's something I need to fix. How? I asked. By starting here, with you. By admitting in front of everyone that you were right and I was wrong. By making it clear that this company values accuracy over comfort. By showing everyone that speaking up is safe, that we'd rather be corrected than be wrong. He sat back down. So here's what's going to happen. I'm calling another meeting with the same team this afternoon, and I'm going to present the corrected data, and I'm going to thank you by name for catching the error, and I'm going to make it clear that you did exactly what we should all hope we're brave enough to do when we see something wrong. You don't have to do that, I said. Yes, I do, he said. Because if I don't, then I'm teaching everyone in this company that hierarchy matters more than truth, that protecting powerful people's feelings is more important than protecting our work. And I refuse to build that kind of place. The meeting happened at 2 SKU, same conference room, same people. I sat in the same seat, third from the end, with the same sharp morning light, now afternoon light, making everything look more important than it was. James stood at the front, put up the corrected presentation, the one with the right numbers. Before we begin, he said, I need to address what happened in Monday's meeting. Sarah Chen, our analytics intern, corrected an error in my presentation. She did so in front of all of you, and she was right. The room was silent, but it was a different kind of silence, attentive rather than uncomfortable. The growth rate I cited was inaccurate, James continued. I had relied on preliminary data without verifying it against the final sources. That was careless. If Sarah hadn't spoken up, we would have presented false information to a major client. We would have built an entire strategy on a faulty foundation. He looked at me. Sarah, thank you. What you did took courage. And while I wish you'd felt comfortable bringing it to me privately, I understand why you didn't. I'm grateful that you valued accuracy more than your own comfort. That's the kind of integrity this company should be built on. He addressed the whole room. Moving forward, I want to make something clear. If you see an error, I want you to say something. I don't care if it's my error or someone else's. I don't care who's in the room. I'd rather be corrected in the moment than be wrong in front of a client. That's the standard now. The meeting continued. The corrected presentation was approved. The strategy was sound. And when it ended, something had shifted. Not just in the room, but in the air, in the culture, in the invisible rules about who got to speak and when. Catherine, the VP of Strategy, stopped by my desk that evening. "That took guts," she said, "what you did on Monday. And I'm sorry if I made you feel like it was the wrong call. You saved us from ourselves." Robert, my supervisor, brought me coffee. "Still have that resignation letter?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "Good," he said. "Keep it, just in case, but maybe not for this company." The other interns started talking to me again, asked questions about how I'd found the error, what sources I used, how I'd had the courage to speak up, like I was someone worth learning from instead of someone to avoid. And James stopped by my desk before he left that evening. "Still planning to quit?" he asked. "No," I said. "I think I'll stay." "Good," he said. "Because we need more people like you. People who care about being right more than being comfortable. People who will take the risk of truth, even when it's hard." That was 2 weeks ago. The internship is still going. The work is still challenging. And I'm still learning, not just about data and analysis, but about how to be right in ways that invite conversation instead of shutting it down. How to challenge power without being cruel. How to speak truth in ways that make people want to listen. But I'm also learning that sometimes the moments when you think you've destroyed everything are actually the moments when you're building something better. That the silence after you say something you can't take back isn't always the silence of judgment. Sometimes it's the silence of people reconsidering everything they thought they knew. The conference room on the 14th floor still has windows that face east. The light still comes in sharp and clean in the mornings. The table is still long and polished. The chairs still adjust in 17 different ways. But now when I sit in that third seat from the end, I sit a little differently. Not like someone who's supposed to be grateful, just to breathe the same air as important people, but like someone who has something valuable to contribute, someone who has learned that being right matters. But so does being kind, so does building trust, so does finding ways to tell the truth that make people want to hear it. I still have that resignation letter in my bag. Keep it there as a reminder. Not of how close I came to leaving, but of how much I've learned by staying. By choosing growth over comfort. By believing that I could become someone who knows not just how to see errors, but how to correct them with grace. The morning light is fading now. Another work day ending. Soon I'll pack up my things and head home and prepare for whatever comes next. But I'll be back on Monday. Back to my desk in the corner. Back to my spreadsheets and sources and careful analysis. Back to the work of being someone who cares about accuracy and kindness in equal measure. There's something healing in that balance, don't you think? In learning that you don't have to choose between being right and being human. That the best version of truth is the one delivered with compassion. That courage isn't just about speaking up. It's about staying present after you've spoken. About listening to what comes back. About letting yourself be changed by the conversation. The silence after you say something you can't take back doesn't have to be the end of the story. Sometimes it's just the beginning. The pause before something new starts. the breath before the next chapter. And I'm still here, still breathing, still learning what comes next. That feels like enough, more than enough. That feels like hope.